Hey friends, Min here from Honest Stamp Age. I'm super excited to be joining the Scrap Hoarders Trio Hop again. We are doing a holiday theme, if you couldn't guess from these little paper pieced things on my desk. And this week we're focusing on embellishments. And so I wanted to show you a couple of quick layered embellishments that you could do with just a generic like winter theme or a generic kind of more traditional holiday theme. But then I also sat down with my husband and we had a little bit of fun and we came up with some punched figures from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, because come on guys, who doesn't like Rudolph? So we've got Yukon Cornelius, we've got Herbie the elf, and then we've got Clarice. That was kind of creepy how I said it, but Clarice, you know, Rudolph's girlfriend. I know, I didn't do Rudolph, and that's because there's so many Rudolphs out there that I just want to do something a little bit different. So let's get into these real quick. I'm going to start with the ones that are the easiest, and we are going to work our way up to Mr. Yukon Cornelius. So the first one that we're going to do is we're going to do this beautiful blue snowflake, and this one is super duper easy. All you need is 3 different pieces for this. You need a large scallop circle, so a 2 3/4 inches blue glittery scallop is what I'm using. You could use any color. Then I did a 1 3/4 circle in a lighter blue, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pop this up because I love the dimension that you get when you use dimensionals, just a teeny tiny bit of subtle dimension. So let's do that real quick. Alright, so now that I've got my scallop and my circle together, I'm actually going to use some hot glue to glue this shiny snowflake on because I don't want the glue to show as much. So I'm just going to take my hot glue gun, which has been sitting here waiting for me. And then my final touch is going to be adding one of these glitter gems from Close to My Heart to the center of the snowflake, and that's literally it. Like boom boom bang, you've got the most beautiful little tag to put on a treat or on a gift, or I'm going to actually show you how I use some of these later on. So that's our first one, snowflake. Super duper easy and quick. The next one that I'm going to show you is this little holly berry tag. Okay, so for this one you're going to need a couple more things. You're going to need a decorative label, and yes, I went with black, which is going to kind of be a little bit difficult to see, but I liked the way that it looked with the gold oval on top. And then I used some specialty green paper to punch out 3 leaves, which I am dropping everything. I'm so sorry. See if I can show you. These leaves are so pretty with that shimmery. Okay, and then I've got this little bow, and I'm going to add some little red enamel dots for holly berries. So this one's really simple. All I did was I just took my tape runner, taped this to the center of the black label, and then for the leaves I kind of went like this. I went one this way with the branch right up in the center, one this way with the branch right up in the center, and then one kind of tilted off to the center in the middle. So let me glue those on now that you know how I did that. So now I have those leaves on there, and I'm going to add the little bow with some hot glue right up here to the center of it. And now that one's done, and you could use white and use mistletoe berries instead as well. So there is our little holly berry one. Now we're going to move on to Clarice. She's actually pretty simple. So what I've used to create her is I have used one of these Stampin' Up! Ornament punches from a long time ago. And I'm keeping the top of this so that I have something to glue this tiny red bow to. If you don't have pre-made bows, you could always just make one, super easy. And then I'm also using a little black pom-pom for her nose. And then her ears are actually these tiny flower petals from this punch. Okay, I'm using this shape right here. And what I did was, let's pull her down here so you can see her as I make her. What I did was I took a Sakura pink glitter gel pen to make the inside of her ears. And then I started to glue this together. So hot glue for the bow right on the top of that little piece. And then I took my glue runner and added glue to the tip and glued the ears to the sides. And then I'm going to hot glue my little nose on. Right there on the tip, and now all she needs is some eyes. And then for a final little addition, I added some little eyelashes using a fine point Sharpie. And there you have your little Clarice, or whatever you want to call your darling little reindeer girl. These are so cute. Okay, so now we're gonna move along to Herbie. Herbie is a special little boy, and he was lots of fun to create. So let me show you all of the pieces that you're gonna need to create Herbie. You are going to need another one of those ornaments in a light peach color. For his hair, I'm actually gonna be using a bird from this Stampin' Up! Punch, this bird right here. This is the leaf from earlier, but here's the bird. A sparkly blue triangle, which I used the pennant punch because I also needed a red one. And then two small pieces, okay, you guys, small. You're gonna need a regular hole punch of a circle for his nose. And then this tiny piece right here, and it came from the stocking punch, the Stampin' Up! Stocking punch. It's this little tiny piece right here, okay? So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna take creamy caramel ink and a sponge, and I'm gonna sponge around his nose to give him the definition that this nose needs. And so just a little bit gives it the shadowing that it needs. And then we're gonna set this aside while I work on his hair. Okay, so this is the bird that I used for his hair, and I was realizing that I had this weird lump because what I did before was I just cut off the beak, and it just looks like this when you cut off the beak. And at first I was okay with it, but then I realized it kind of looks strange right there. So I'm gonna try something, and I'm gonna try rounding this a little bit more. And yes, I like that a little bit better. Now for the hat, I'm actually going to take this other piece of red that I punched out, and I'm just gonna cut straight across to create the little piece that goes across his hat. And then I glue the little feather part behind so that it's kind of got that dimensional look. Next, I'm going to add two more of those little eyeballs. I'm just going to draw in the little shapes for his eyebrows and his mouth with a Sakura red gel pen. And there we have our little Herbie the elves. So there's Herbie. He's super cute. Last but not least, we're gonna do this guy right here, Yukon Cornelius. He has the most pieces of anybody. So let me show you all of the pieces that I needed in order to make Yukon Cornelius. I did use one of these pieces for the main part of his face. Then I used another one of them for part of his beard, and then this petal shape for the other part of his beard. That petal shape is the largest petal in this punch right here. Then for his hat, I used a designer label and an oval. And then for the upper part of his face, I've got this oval and then a 3/4 inch circle for his nose. Now, his mustache was a little bit tricky, but what my husband did, because he figured out how to do the mustache, he figured out that you would take a square scallop and you would cut here on the edge, and then you would take that same scallop and you would just bring it down a little bit to create another part of the edge and punch again. And so that's how we created these little pieces for his mustache, okay? If you wanted to add more depth, you could go in and you could maybe, I don't know, sponge around the different beard parts, sponge around his face parts, but I think he's absolutely darling, and I can't wait to use these on little gifts for male friends this Christmas or for my husband. So there you have it, my friends, 5 festive embellishments for the upcoming holiday, all made out of scraps. And if you don't believe me, let me just show you. It literally came from this pile of scraps, I promise you. And so I'm going to say goodbye for now. Please make sure that you hop around and see everybody else. And until next time, friends, hugs and happy holiday crafting. Bye.